Next in the line is Mykyta Soima, the founder of Escalix. Escalix is dedicated to helping e-commerce brands that spend over $50,000 per month double their new cold customers through Google Ads and complementary expertise. With 8 years of experience in Google Ads for e-commerce, over $24 million in ad spend, and ranked in the top 1% on Upwork, Mykyta has assisted hundreds of founders and CMOs in boosting their business profits. And luckily for us, today Mykyta will share this experience and show us how e-commerce companies can use ChatGPT for Google Ads. The stage is yours, Mykyta.
Hello everyone. Today we are going to talk about how e-com companies can use ChatGPT for Google Ads. We have a pretty solid agenda for today, which consists of the next points. First one is building a buyer persona, finding non-obvious keyword ideas, as well as identifying some negative keywords ideas before you launch your campaigns, writing headlines and descriptions, adapting campaigns for new markets when you are expanding, drafting landing pages, and of course, analyzing your performance and data. The goal of this presentation is to inspire you a little bit and show you how much different tasks could be accomplished with help of AI and ChatGPT, specifically in this case. This presentation will be absolutely user-friendly, so everyone can take the prompts, can take the templates I've prepared for you, and just use them today or tomorrow in their day-to-day work routine with the Google Ads. We are not going to cover any technical or complex things which requires some specific knowledge from your side. So it will be absolutely easy for all of you guys just to take it and implement in your work. But before we start, I would like to introduce myself. So my name is Mykyta. I've been doing Google Ads for more than 8 years. For 3.5 years, I've been managing digital marketing in the largest Europe enterprise company. After that, I started my solo career, and over the past 4 years, I've developed a proven system that helps e-commerce businesses to double their new revenue with Google Ads. During this time, I worked with dozens or maybe even hundreds of different companies and managed more than $24 million in ad spend. But let's jump into the presentation and start with the first and the most important topic, I would say, and something that is usually ignored and underestimated by marketers and e-com businesses is building your buyer persona, and why it's so important for you, and how ChatGPT and AI tools can help you with that. So buyer persona is the detailed description of your ideal customer, and it's really important to create it before you're launching a campaign, a product, writing ad copies, so on, because this helps you to understand your audience, understand their challenges, their pain points, goals, and motivations. I've prepared a template for you. There's a specific template that I'm using in my work. So here you have all the fields that you need to fill out. And of course, here we have a prompt for that. So you're just taking the prompt and copying it. There are only 2 variables that you need to replace. It's your product description and it's your website URL. So let's test it a little bit. We are opening a ChatGPT. I'm using the Plus version and the latest model, which is great for most of tasks. So we are just pasting it. Let's delete the first part. So my product description, as an example, will be street for clothing. And let's say website URL is shop.capsule.com. So we would like to get an ideas from ChatGPT on our ideal buyer persona template. And the goal is to get the information structured in the format which is suitable for our buyer persona template, when we can easily copy and paste the information here. So here is the answer. Let's copy everything and just paste values here. So as you can see, that's perfectly matched with the structures that we prepared. We have a name, age, gender. What is most important for us is a goal, build personal brand, challenges, limited budget, oversaturation of choices, pain points, difficult finding, trendy yet comfortable clothing. So that works for me. I really love the buyer personas that I get. Of course, you can have more than one buyer persona, especially if you have different product lines or if you are targeting a few different target audiences. For example, if you have something for man and something for women and for different age, etc. So you should create as much as you need. And after that, we will use all this information when creating headlines and building the campaigns and drafting the landing page. Let's jump back into our presentation and move to the next point. It's finding non-obvious keywords ideas. And why ChatGPT can help you with that. So in most of cases, when you are creating a new Google Ads campaign, you are going to use Google Ads Keyword Planner. So this is one of the most popular tools that helps you to find more keywords. But the thing is, you need to give some output for the Google Keyword Planner to describe your product or your product variations. That's why ChatGPT is a great tool at the beginning for collecting different variations of the product, different topics around that, which you can use as an individual keyword or as an input to Google for Google Keyword Planner to find even more relevant ideas. So I have a prompt as usual. So for each task that we are going to solve with ChatGPT, you will have a prompt template that you are just copying and replacing the variable, which is bold. In our case, it's your product. I've prepared an example already, and we are going to test it for eco-friendly water bottles. So I'm just copying the prompt, move to ChatGPT. So as you can see, this is my product as an example. Let's see. What we want to get a topic and different keyword ideas variations that are not obvious for me. So of course, eco-friendly water bottles, that's something really obvious and that's something that I'm starting from. But here, some more ideas like zero waste bottle. Okay, that's great. This wasn't on my mind before. BPA free. Okay, maybe BPA free bottles, also great. Gift bottles, sustainable bottles, reusable, also great. Eco bottle. What's important? Every time you can give a comment, more ideas, and get a little bit more ideas for your product. So here I also have some more great ideas for my product. That's why I'm just collecting them in the document. And with this basic variations of the keywords and topics around my keywords, I'm going to Google Keyword Planner and I give them as a first input to the system. And after that, I'm getting much more ideas with the historical data on each keyword, with the competition level, with the estimated cost per click, and so on. And based on that, I'm building a Google search campaign. You can also use your competitors as a source of ideas and source of more information for that. So again, we have a prompt for you with a few variables. The first one is a competitor's name, and the second one is a competitor's website URL. Again, I've prepared an example already that I'm going to copy and paste in ChatGPT. The goal here is to analyze our competitor and try to find some more keyword ideas, brand ideas, product line ideas, and like product types. So accessories, t-shirts, pillows. So pretty enough to analyze and try to find some really specific for our topic. For example, gift cards. Okay, is it something interesting? That's something that we are not covering, for example, in our project. That's why I should consider that and maybe implement also. But of course, the competitor analysis is a pretty big and hard task. That's why I'm also sharing with you my Google Ads competitor analysis guide. So ChatGPT will be just a part of your research. But of course, you would like to know more about your competitors. That's why I prepared this 14 pages document when we are going to analyze everything about your competitors. So their ads, their brand power, what they are showing on different platforms across the Google network, including images, texts, videos, and so on, how strong their brand and what's the demand for their brand, which systems they're using on the website, like Retail, for example, or Facebook Pixel, what they're doing on the Facebook and Meta ads also, because it's also important because that affects their performance on Google Ads. So you can also take this document and it will help you to analyze even more, and in a combination with ChatGPT and those prompts, you will collect as much information as possible, which will give you more ideas for keywords, ads, and campaign structure. So the next step that we are going to cover is identifying negative keywords and why it's so important. So typically, when you are running a search campaign or shopping campaign, you have some search terms that are common, and you can check them at your search term report. And of course, it gives you much more data to analyze, and it gives you much more ideas what should be excluded. So you see a real demand, you see a real search queries, you're analyzing them, and you're adding them to your negative keyword list, making your traffic cleaner. But what if you are launching a new campaign and you would like to decrease wasted ad spend as such as possible before you launch, at the beginning, because usually right after the launching, a big portion of traffic is irrelevant. And after you starting to analyze that and excluding in a few weeks and sometimes in a month, it will be much cleaner and much more relevant for your product. But who wants to spend at the beginning on a relevant search term? So no one. That's why I believe ChatGPT and this specific prompt could be really, really useful for you when you're launching something new and you would like to collect more negative keywords before. So again, you're just copying this prompt with only one variable. It's your product. Be as precise as possible and describe your product as good as you can. In our scenario, we are going to do that for men's winter hiking boots. So I'm copying the prompt to show you how it works. Let's see. Again, the goal here is to collect as much negative keywords as possible before launching the campaign and decrease wasted ad spend at the beginning. So, negative keywords ideas here: women's, kids, summer. Okay, like Nike, Adidas, cowboy, rain boots, maybe UGC boots. Cheap. If we were not selling cheap, that's a great one. Used or second-hand, also really great because we are selling new products. What else? Repairs. Great, because at the beginning there is a possibility that we can get some traffic about boot repairs, but we are not providing a service, we are selling a product. Boot cleaning or polish, also relevant for us. We would like to exclude it at the beginning. And by analyzing all these ideas, you can create a pretty solid negative keyword list before you even launch a campaign, before you even get in some real search terms and real traffic. And as I mentioned before, you just say more ideas and you continue this process a few times, like 3, 5, 10 times, as much as you need to collect more keywords. You're analyzing them. Baby, also that's a great negative keyword for us. What else? Dance. Maybe fishing. Okay, fishing could be relevant. Free boots. Okay, vegan. So really, really great ideas. DIY also, it's relevant for us. We are selling something new. CrossFit, also great negative keyword. So as you can see, even before launching the campaign, you can collect a really great negative keyword list. Of course, when you are collecting keyword ideas for your business and you are downloading all the ideas from Google Keyword Planner, you should analyze all the search terms and find as much negative keyword ideas as possible and collect into your list. But you can also enrich all those ideas with something that you can get from ChatGPT by using this specific prompt. So let's jump to the next slide. It's writing headlines and descriptions. And that's what I'm personally doing a lot with ChatGPT, and it saves a lot of time. It helps me to create much more ideas and brainstorm much more ideas in less time and be more productive. So here is a template that I prepared for you with the headlines. Here we have 15 headlines and 4 descriptions. So this is standard amount of assets for the responsive search ads on short. Here we have a formula to double check the length of those assets, because sometimes ChatGPT could ignore your comment and you need to double check it manually and maybe correct the system. Here we have a prompt also that you can copy. And here we have 4 variables. And what is most interesting here is the first one variable, your buyer persona. That's something that we did at the beginning of our presentation, and that's what I mentioned as one of the most important parts for creating a great Google ad copy. Because when you know your buyer persona, their goals, their desires, and their motivations, you are creating much better ads. So copy your prompt. Again, I have an example here. We are going to do that for a streetwear hoodie for men, as we were using this as an example at the beginning. I'm moving to ChatGPT. The only thing I need here is my buyer persona. So I'm just opening the document. You're just copying the full column with buyer persona description. Paste here. You put your product description you put your product features like 10% off on a first order or free delivery, high quality, and so on. And let's see what we can get from the systems. Again, this prompt is designed in a specific way that give you an answer in a format that you can easily copy and paste into our template. So you don't need to extract something, and it's really, really easy for you just to copy all the headlines and paste them here. Let's double check. So all of them less than 30 symbols. Really looks great for me. So we have a call to actions, we have an offer, we have a free delivery that we mentioned, limited edition hoodies, some more product description. Of course, inside Google Ads, you are going to double check that you are mentioning keywords from your ad group in that specific ad, or you are using keyword insertion tool at your ad, but most of the headlines, which are more general about your unique selling proposition, call to action, and your offer, could be created by ChatGPT really quickly. So 1 second and we have almost the full asset pack here. What about descriptions? Let's also copy them and double check. Okay, so all of them less than 90, even less than 70. You can work around with that. So you can give a command to a system like make them 80 to 90, for example, or you can add something by yourself. But we have a really great descriptions with our offer, like 10% off, free delivery. We have a product description like streetwear hoodies and so on. So I really love what we got. Before that, it was taking sometimes hours to create a really great copy, which is different and which is covering all that I want to cover in my app. So let's jump into the next point, and this point is adapting campaigns for new markets. And that's also something that I'm personally using a lot, because if you're working with some brands that would like to expand into the new market, it's really, really helpful, because of course you can't know all the languages and you can't speak as a native into another language, which is not English, for example, or which is not your local language. And in the United States, for example, around 15% of population speaks Spanish. And I had a few really great case studies when we just duplicated the English campaigns into Spanish, replaced everything and translated ads, headlines and descriptions, our site links, our landing page. Just did absolutely the same for the same market, but with another language. And the cost per click was much lower because the competition level is lower. And we got really great results, and the CPA was lower, but the quality of the leads and customers was the same, as good as it was with English version. So, and what is important for you as an e-com business owner is that you don't need to hire a local agency or a local freelancer when you are going to expand into the different markets. You can do that with your own resources, with your current in-house resources, or for example, with your current freelancer or contractors that you're working with, just with the help of ChatGPT and the prompts that I prepare for you. So again, we have a template just to make it easier to manage. And we have a prompt here just with one variable which is language, and the another one is the headlines or description. So there are two versions of prompts. The first one for headlines, the second one is for descriptions. So let's test it. I have an example for headlines, so I'm just copying that, going to ChatGPT, and here we need to paste our headlines. So I need to open my document with all the headlines I have, just copy them, paste. And again, we are getting an answer in the specific format that I would like to get, which is easy to copy and paste into my template. So let's double check all of them. Here we have headlines. So as you can see, some of them is longer than 30 symbols. So sometimes it happens that what I mentioned before. So I'm just copying this. That's a part of work, so don't be afraid. Make less than 30 symbols, including spaces. Let's double check. $26. Okay, this one is good. Let's take the next one. Okay, and again 31. Make it shorter. Okay, so we are just copying it. 20. So all of them less than 30. You do absolutely the same for the description, and just in a few seconds you have a full ad copy which sounds natively, which is adapted, which looks really great as your English version, and it helps you to launch for the new market just in a minutes, or like expand into a new country in a few hours of work without even knowing this specific language. So that really looks great for me, and I really love this feature, and I'm using a lot it in my personal work. So the next part is drafting landing pages. As you can know, landing page is a really big part of Google Ads success, and even a great structure, great optimization, right tracking, right bid strategy will not save you if you have a shitty landing page which has a really low conversion rate. That's why it's a big part of the process. And again, ChatGPT will not solve this like ideally for you. It will not build everything for you. But what you can do with ChatGPT is a draft landing page structure and draft landing page content. So I have a prompt here that you're just copying and replacing it with your product, your top keywords, and again, your buyer persona that we created at the beginning. And it will help you to draft a good landing page structure. So let's take it as an example. Again, here I need to paste my buyer persona to make it more relevant. So here we have a title, meta description, sounds good. Landing page structure, here we have a hero section, our call to action, problem description and solution. Okay, great. Some feature products, okay, differentiators. Okay, also great. Social proof, really important part of each landing page. FAQs, closing section with the call to actions. Yeah, so looks really great. If you are using a specific framework for building landing pages, you are just put this as an input in the prompt, like build a landing page draft structure using the specific framework. Or you can use your competitor landing page as an example and their structure as an example if you like it, if you know that works. And after creating the drafted structure, ChatGPT can also help you with the content inside each block, what you should say here, what you should write inside the call to action button, for example. And what is really important, it will take all the information about your product and all the information about your buyer persona to make it as relevant as possible. The next tasks that we can do with ChatGPT is analyzing your performance and data. So it's just an example of how you can use ChatGPT to analyze your data. You can build much more complex systems, and you can use OpenAI API and connect it with your database or connect it with Google spreadsheets and so on, and build like a software that will help you with a specific type of task, which will give you a data-driven ideas and data-driven decisions and suggestions on optimizing your campaigns. So, but here, just one of the examples and the prompt, really small prompt that you can use for analyzing your performance, for example, for keywords, ad groups, campaigns, assets, anything. So you need to download the data in XLS format, for example, and put it inside the ChatGPT. It usually takes some time for analysis, so I've already did it before and downloaded my example. Here I have a keywords, and I was asking for some insights. So the system didn't found high spend, low profit keywords. The system found some effective keywords and showed me them here. Also some insights on the total and so on. So it's a pretty powerful, and ChatGPT also has a specific GPT which calls data analyst, which I'm also using from time by time. Is specifically built for analyzing data and visualizing some data. So make sure that you are using it in your daily work and it helps you to make better decisions. So the last thing that I wanted to say, again, the goal was to give you an inspiration. If you are still not using ChatGPT or AI, you're missing a lot of opportunities. And as I can see, AI is not going to take your job or take your business. There's only one type of business and one type of person that will be killed by AI. That's someone who is not using it at their daily routine to be more productive and deliver better performance for your customers. So that's everything that I wanted to share today. Let's connect on LinkedIn. You can find the link here. I'm sharing every day different information about Google Ads for e-com, how you can improve your results. I'm sharing my real strategies that I'm testing for my clients. If you need any help with Google Ads for your e-com business, like audit, consultation, or a full management and optimization, you can book a call with me or write me on email, and let's stay connected. I wish you a good day and thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mykyta, for sharing your secrets on using ChatGPT for Google Ads. I'm sure everyone is already thinking of ways to implement your strategies for leveraging AI to increase their advertising results.